What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 49 of the Yamcast. We've got our sheet pulled up here, so I've got all my cheat codes on, and I know exactly what I'm going to say. Today, we are talking about a bit of news of no more dirt bike riding. We've got some news here on green stickers and red stickers and what's going on with all that. We're going to chat about that. We've got a universal motorcycle map gadget from Triumph as well. We're going to take a look. And BMW's got a brand new electric super scooter. It's some pretty cool news we got going on today. Later in the show, we're going to have our call-in portion of the podcast where we're going to be taking beginner myths and questions that our Discord boys may have or misconceptions they had as they were beginner riders. Curious to hear those. And then we've got a meme contest featuring yours truly. We've got Cowboy Yam in the mix. Seen a lot of these memes on Discord. Haven't seen all of them. I'm very curious to see what we've come up with on the Discord because you were on the chopping block and now I'm on the chopping block.
Yep.
So let's get into it. Stick around. Alrighty, Spite. What's our first bit of news today?
So our first bit of news is the big one, and that is California is making new rules to make most 2022 dirt bikes illegal on public land.
I feel like all dirt boys read them. They're like, I'm not gonna be able to ride anymore. Oh, wait, they're coming for our dirt bikes.
Yup.
They're coming to take our dirt bikes.
They're coming for your bikes. But
we're having
really.
a dirt bike buyback program. The government's interested in getting all the dirt bikes back.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to go quite that far. But
Yeah, don't think so.
The story here is in California, CARB, which is the California Air Resources Board. Let me go to picture-in-picture so people can see it at home. I think it's this one. Make sure. Nope. There we go. All right. Fixed it. So CARB, the California Air Resources Board, has this exemption called green stickers and red stickers. So green stickers represent motorcycles that meet this 1994 exhaust standard, basically meaning that they're clean enough to, be environmentally healthy, shall we say. Red stickers are engines that have no controls, motorcycles with no controls. Basically think your race exhausts, your tunes, all that sort of thing.
This is all strange for us here in Texas because I feel like we have exhaust laws, but they're not really enforced at all.
Yeah.
So this is interesting, yeah.
This was like that. It was an exhaust law that wasn't enforced. So maybe this portends ill news for the rest of motorcycling at large, but we'll find out.
So the idea was that red stickered bikes were race machines and exempt from the emissions, right, that the green sticker bikes had.
Yes.
Okay.
And that those bikes could be used on public land for purposes of racing, basically. And what ended up happening is, as you can see down here, manufacturers started keeping pace, sort of, with red tag bikes with green tag bikes. So basically they were making performance machines and non-performance green tag carb-compliant motorcycles in sort of equal measure. They weren't really, but then in 2007, they just kind of said, fuck it, and made a bunch of red tag motorcycles.
Yeah.
Probably this was all KTM's fault. And then...
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, with their whole ready-to-race shtick.
Yeah. But the thing that I thought was super interesting is there's a graph in here that talks about how many people actually use their red stickered bikes for racing, right?
Yep. So, outside of California, a red sticker bike could only be used for competition purposes. In California, you could use red sticker bikes in public land, so parks and so forth. But they were really meant to be raced, right? This was a race exemption.
But 74% of red sticker owners never even raced.
6% of total red sticker hours were being operated during races, and 7% of total red sticker hours were used for practice. That's nothing.
Yeah, so this goes back to my thing about how a lot of KTM guys off-road buy these like crazy over-the-top bikes and use them to just poodle around on trails, which is quite funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is essentially a law that was already on the books that was not enforced that is now being enforced, basically. That's the long and short of it. And essentially,
yeah. So they're saying now that like the red sticker, green sticker program is going to continue, but what they're going to do is that the red stickers going forward are actually going to be red sticker, right? You can't just use them anywhere you want, right?
Yep.
That's the thing. So they're just enforcing the law better.
Yeah, you can't use them anymore on public land.
Yeah.
So you have to, if you want to be a dirt bike boy, you got it, and you want to go ride trails in a national or state park, you have to ride a green sticker bike.
Yeah.
You can't ride a red tag bike.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that this is only for new bikes, right? All the old bikes that were red sticker and green sticker, all that stuff, they're all grandfathered in, right? Yep. So again, we were joking in the beginning, no one's coming for your dirt bike, no one's going to tell you can't ride it, no one's going to come and take the wheels off of it. It's not like that. It's just for new motorcycles.
Calm down. It's going to be fine. Yeah, so basically what this means is if you run into a dealership and you buy yourself your 250 EXCF or whatever, that is a race-ready bike. It's performance-oriented. It probably is not going to meet that green tag.
Is the EXCF the trail one, or is that the enduro? I can't keep up.
I can't keep. There's too many.
Yeah.
KTM. You got too many letters in there.
Yeah.
Calm down.
There's like the enduro one, the motocross one, and the trail one, and then a street legal one. I don't know, but yeah, let's just for the sake of argument, a 250 that's like a popped up trail bike. Yeah.
That bike is literally that's basically your Erzberg rally kind of thing. Now.
Yeah.
You can't use that in anything other than a race.
Yeah.
And people are all getting their panties in a wad.
Sounds like they just need to go racing, dude.
It kind of sounds like that's what they should probably just do what the law says.
Yeah, it sounds like they should just go race with their race bike. Mm-hmm. I don't run around here with my race prepped 675R on the street and being like, I can't believe I can't ride this thing out here. Sorry, guys. Like, that's the way it goes, man. Like, there's rules.
And, of course, who is standing against this march of progress but the AMA?
It's like, I don't want to get the AMA angry. I don't want to, look, I'm not trying to get all up in the AMA's stuff, okay? But, like, it feels like the AMA is often fighting and championing stuff that is kind of pointless. Like, they're out there fighting for, like, we don't want helmet laws. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, what? Okay, what? And then this stuff, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like the AMA could better spend his time. But there's a great quote here, right?
CARB can have a tendency of single-mindedly pursuing their goal of lower emissions.
Isn't that literally what they're supposed to do?
That's exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, so single-mindedly there feels a little silly to say, being that is the one stated purpose of CARB.
They're also saying that there's a benefit to rural areas, a $20 billion economic benefit to the state in rural areas by doing all this. Mm-hmm. Tell us how much you normally spend a month going out to Hidden Falls.
Like $20.
That's not a lot of coin.
Off-road riding is notoriously cheap to do, which is what makes it so great, right? You can buy a year pass for a national park for like $100. You can go out. I mean, you can buy a year pass for Hidden Falls for like, I think, $220, and you can go literally as much as you want, right? There are plenty of places where if you have green sticker, you can just go on these cool forest roads and trails. They're free. You can just show up and just use them.
Yep.
Because you pay taxes there. So that's cool. But yeah, dirt bike bros, don't worry. You're still going to be able to ride. You still got your cool race-ready bike that you used to poodle around on trails with for some reason. But the cool thing is here, too, that the article mentioned that I wanted to talk about as well, is that there's plenty of street-legal dual-sport model motorcycles that are ridiculously hopped up. Things like the KTM 350 EXCF, for example. Yeah, it's not a super hopped-up two-stroke crazy TE 300i or whatever, but it's still a fantastic motorcycle that is vastly capable to do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah. And it's street legal, which means it's completely compliant.
Yeah.
And you can go take it anywhere you want.
And Suzuki's like, we got the DRZ 400. We still make it. Yamaha may have given up. Kawasaki made some neutered KLX. We are here since 2000 making the same motorcycle.
We got you, bro.
I feel like a KTM bro going from like a trail specific bike to a DRC 400. You'd be like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's so heavy. I can't even lift it with my race ready arms. Sorry, Casey.
Where's all the orange? I can't see. There's no power parts on it.
I can't even see the bike. It's gone. It's a camouflage. It's not even highlighter orange.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
But yeah, so that's there's a bit of a tough situation with the dirt bikes, and it's really actually not that tough.
No,
It's just not. It's a bit overblown, I think.
yeah. The thing that's going to be interesting about this, and the AMA quote kind of talked about it a little bit, are sort of the implications far and wide about something like this, right? Where you might have some economic impacts. I think you might also have, I mean, what are manufacturers going to do now, right? Where they have to, are they going to build California-specific models and then everybody else? Or are they just going to say, screw it, everybody in America is going to get these green stickered new emission controlled bikes, and then we're going to sell, race exhaust from the factory? I don't know. Are we going to see a gigantic burgeoning aftermarket scene of people being like, off-road use only, not legal in California, and they just sell them anyways,
But then, I mean, they're not legal in California, but you get to that point where it's, again, is it going to be regulated?
Yeah.
Are people going to care? There's got to be some sort of actual regulation. Otherwise, it's, what's the point?
Yeah. So we're going to stay up to date on this California dirt bike situation. But to me, it just kind of seems like the California regulatory body is just doing its job.
Yep. They're finally doing its job.
Yeah. So if you guys want to ride to race bikes, go to racing.
Mm-hmm.
What's up next?
Next up, we have one that is pretty darn cool for me, specifically. I thought this was really neat. Triumph partners with Beeline for Universal Navigation Module.
Interesting.
So what this is, I did a little bit of research on this, but essentially all it is it's a new universal dashboard companion, essentially. It's universal navigation. They have an app, and you plug in your destination on the app, and it shows up on the handlebar-mounted thingamajig here. Mm-hmm. And it's got two modes. It's got a normal map navigation where it's like, turn right at this street.
Yeah.
Or what they have, and this is the compass view that we're seeing here, they'll show you this dot, which is the general direction of your destination.
That's good.
And the mileage or kilometers to your destination. And then they let you just kind of adventure your way there. Like, okay, I need to go that way, so I should pick this road to go that way, kind of thing.
Interesting.
Which is actually really cool. I really like that idea of having some sort of free-form, adventurous navigation, but you're still not going to get totally screwed.
Yeah. That's a fun way of approaching it, where you're like, if you have like a big long afternoon, you're like, I need to end up this place, but it doesn't matter how long I take to get there, type of thing,
Yeah.
I've definitely had rides like that where I'm like, I got to go run an errand, but I'm going to take the long-ish, windy way around to get there,
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And this kind of has a old school adventurous vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I like that. And one thing is they make a non-Triumph version, so I'm not sure what Triumph is doing here.
Maybe it's Triumph. Maybe you can buy them at dealers and chuck them on your bike or something.
Yeah, I guess that's just a new thingy that you can get at a dealership.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just this new-ish piece of technology for not a ton of money. I mean, that's a little expensive for what it is.
$279 for that's a bit much.
You can get it cheaper if you don't buy the Triumph badged one, though.
That's true, yeah.
So
I'm thinking, what I'm thinking about is stuff like in bicycling, you have stuff like the Wahoo Element Roam. They're these tiny, they look a lot like that, but they're square. Mm-hmm. They're these tiny little readout computers you put on your bicycle that gives you navigation. You can link them up to like heart rate monitors and power meters and give you a lot of metrics about stuff, right? Those are a lot cheaper than that. They're not $279. Yeah. So maybe this is being upcharged for some reason, because that display looks extremely simple.
There's your upcharge right there. Right there.
And on the back there too, where you're never going to see it, that little T right there.
But I think this is actually really cool, and it's something that I could see adventure riders really getting after, or touring guys enjoying.
Yeah.
Is this kind of blind navigation? Like they tell you where you're meant to be going.
Yeah.
But not how to get there, which is cool. I like that freeform style of navigation.
Yeah. Do you like how there's a car alarm and a V8 going right now outside?
I bet it sounds great on the microphone. I'm sure it sounds awesome.
You guys can tell we don't have a sound-controlled situation here or whatever. The Beeline looks pretty cool. I wonder if it's going to have wider adoption for other brands. I wonder if other brands are going to cross-collab too, because it looks like something you can just lock into place on a little mount, right?
Yeah, so you slap it on a handlebar mount. It's like magnetic or twist in like a Rockform mount is. And then you're good to go. And it can, despite being Triumph branded, you can put it on any motorcycle.
Yeah.
So get ready to have a Triumph branded thingamajig on your KTM or whatever.
Yeah, it says in addition to motorcycles, it can also be installed on bicycles for a convenient tie-in with Triumph's new line of push bikes.
What is a push bike?
Push bike is like a pedal bike, like a bicycle.
So that's what Alex Rins busted his arm on, huh?
Yes. You want to talk about that? Alex had his 5th DNF.
Yep. Oh, poor Alex.
God. Like, what god did he anger? Like, what? How do you crash a bicycle and then break your arm? I mean, that's rough. That's rough. I'm sorry, Alex.
He was
man.
smitten.
There's no way you're watching this podcast, but I feel for you, dude. That's rough.
I was just looking at the grid and I was like, where's Rins? What the?
Nope, no Rins. Before we delve off into GP land, anything else you want to say about the Beeline here?
No, I think it's cool and I want one.
Yeah. I'll get Josh to send him a message. See if we can get one for free. Show up here at the office. I'm sure we can get that.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just something that's can be summed up by the Archer meme. Neat.
And what's our final bit of news today?
BMW has a goofy-looking super scooter.
We're back to the Yamcast's old stomping grounds, baby. It's either scooters, Harleys, or Royal Enfields. Oh, boy.
So this is a ugly as sin test version of a electric super scooter that is meant to do 70 miles an hour and top speed, 70 mile an hour top speed and 100 miles worth of range.
This scooter looks like for the Euro bro that is like, I literally do not care what I look like when I'm going somewhere. I just want to get there.
Yep.
I do not give one single fuck about what I look like when I'm on this vehicle.
Which is why this guy is dressed like this. I mean, that's brutal.
That's a rough look right there.
I like how he's wearing like an RF 1200 too.
You know, I wonder if this scooter would be really good for like delivery and courier services in big cities. Maybe it'll turn into like a fleet vehicle of sorts, right? Or maybe even cops will use it because it looks comfortable and it's easy to ride. I don't know.
And it's electric, so it'll be pretty quick off the line.
Yeah.
You know, I could definitely see, your pizza boy putting a giant heater on the back and, carting one of these around. I think that electric scooters are going to become more and more prevalent, especially with that swappable battery situation that's going on between KTM, Honda, Yamaha, and Peugeot.
BMW is not in the mix with that, right? Or
no, they aren't. But I could see them being like, oh, we'll come up with our own swappable battery system that's compatible somehow or something like that.
Scott on stream here says he will wait for the M version of this scooter.
Yeah, they are saying that the CE is a whole new designation here. So let's see. They break down the designations. Where is it?
Go down. You can see it in color. Wow.
Ooh, look at that. That is still ugly.
It's so futuristic looking. It's trying to be something so weird,
Yeah, it looks like a thing out of some cyberpunk.
Yeah, Neo Tokyo type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then now they have the just blacked out version, which is basically exactly so this is the concept.
Yeah.
And this is the actual production version. So it's looking basically right on the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's the CE is like the S1000RR of, or the R1250 GS. CE is their new model designation for their super scooter.
Yeah. Someone on stream said something that I was just about to say too, is the wheelbase on the scooter looks insane. Mm-hmm. It looks super long, right? Like that.
That is a significant wheelbase.
I wonder how that tips into corners.
Probably very badly.
Very slowly, yeah. Very, very slowly and ponderously, because that's a whale of a wheelbase.
I guess we'll just have to see how much they charge for it.
And the wheels are tiny, too.
Yeah, and how much they want to charge for it, how much it weighs.
Yeah. So I'm seeing here in that article, it says upfront, right way forks, blah, blah, blah. It's sensible stuff, easy to mass produce, and should be a recipe for a price that's lower than the C Evolution's sky-high cost, which made it as expensive as an R1250 GS and hamstrung sales. I sure fucking hope it's less than an R1250 GS, dude.
God damn, that is an expensive scooter.
Yeah, scooters are meant to be cheap and dumb. You can buy a 2-stroke scoot for like, what, $3 or $4 grand, right? Mm-hmm. Like a good one.
You can get yourself a Ruckus from some college kid who doesn't want it anymore for like $1 grand.
Yeah.
And then you're done. But R1250 GS money, that's $17,000 for the base model, $20,000 plus for the full Zoot one. Mm. You can get so much. You can get so much for that kind of money.
You can get whatever you want, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get a Honda Fireblade though.
Nope.
Which I might be getting, but don't tell anybody.
But I think that this is just another sign that everybody's going to be going electric sooner or later.
Yep.
That or synth gas.
It's happening, and there's nothing we can do. And synth gas is for synthetic gas, not cool like synthwave gas. Although I wish it was.
You just open the tank and like purple colors come out.
Yeah, some sick music starts playing. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I'm in the 80s. But I think that's going to wrap up the news for today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to turn over to the call-in portion of our podcast and chat with our Discord boys about their beginner rider myths or misconceptions. Stick around. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the call-in portion of our podcast. If you are new around here, the way you join up on our call-in is you go over to our Discord server on yammie.co. We stream these Yamcasts live, and we take the calls live as well. And, we love talking to you, and we'd love to meet more members. If you want to join up, it's a fun time. I'm on the Discord literally every day at some point or another, so you'll see me on there a lot. And the way you can call in for the Discord boys is you press and hold Spite's name on Discord, click the call button, and we will take your call, and you will pop up here on the Yamcast. So, Spite, you want to get started?
Let's do it. So, starting us off, we have C Money Diesel.
Hey, there's C Money Diesel. You were on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, guys. Before I do anything with talking about misconceptions, I did happen to see locally a Suzuki scooter a couple of days ago that had a custom graphic on the side of it that said Hayabusa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That must be the 650 then.
It must have been.
I don't know what it was. It's a scooter, so
that
I'm
math
not.
checks out, Spite.
Yes. The Bergman 650.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I think was a misconception for me was that I was always a spec sheet warrior, and the stuff that really mattered was always, the power to weight ratio, and everything had to be super light. And now that I still have a beginner bike, but I've ridden several different types of bike, and the heaviest thing that I've ridden is a Harley that weighed 730 pounds, and the most powerful thing I've ridden was a Gixxer 750 that's 150 horse. So I think that going into things thinking that the weight was a huge hurdle to overcome was kind of a misconception. Once you're rolling, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, that is true. I would say for street bikes, that is very, very true, that the weight isn't a super big deal. But I don't know if you've done any off-road riding, but weight definitely is a pretty big factor there, especially when you're looking at a big adventure bike versus a dirt bike. Spite, what would you say about weight as a beginner rider? How did you feel when you started? Did you think about it much? I didn't think about it much, honestly.
I didn't think about it much because I actually started on a Harley, and those are even the street line of motorcycles was heavy.
Yeah.
But I managed it just fine. I didn't really realize how much weight made a difference until I started riding my supermoto.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
So, but that on the street, it doesn't really make a difference for your average rider. which is
No.
why you see those massive cruisers.
And honestly, a lot of people like the feeling of the heavier weight because it feels much more stable at speed. You don't get blasted around with wind on the highway, which is what a lot of American riders tend to do. So, yeah, weight could definitely be a misconception. C Money Diesel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for the call. We're going to let someone else jump on here.
All righty, man. You
All
guys take care.
See ya.
Bye.
Alrighty, next up we have Sammy J.
Sammy J, you are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing? First time calling in. How are you?
Oh, good. Good to hear from you. First time caller. We appreciate it.
Yeah, talking about beginner myths. I mean, I've just sold 2 bikes recently. My beginner bike was a Honda CBR 250R, and that is just really, I felt like consequence free on it.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up selling it to a girl, ironically, she'd been in an accident before, not her fault at all. She bought it, she just wanted something a little bit more comfortable, and then jumping up to what I thought was my dream bike, the Gixxer 750,
Nice.
and just expecting it to be an absolute rocket ship. In that time, I've written MT10s and whatnot, and I'd still consider myself somewhat of a beginner. I ended up selling that off because it's just hurting the back, and the other misconception is a lot of people think they're only going to go up and up and up, and a lot of the time you start moving back down as well. Like,
Yep.
after riding the MT10, I was like, oh, don't need that much power. I want something more for commuting and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I
your
see
views
it.
on that as well.
I see it all the time, man, where people, it's like this kind of yo-yo effect where they kind of go from like a small bike to a medium bike to a really big, powerful bike, and then they just kind of come back down when they realize that it's kind of overkill, you know? I think it takes a special kind of crazy person to stay at that kind of 210 MT10 level forever, and they're just like, nope, this is what I like, and I want to be here, you know? So eventually the fun factor kind of wears off, and then you're like, this is kind of a handful to, like you said, commute and own and live with. Spike, did you kind of feel that with your VFR? I can't really remember.
So I went up. So I started on a 750. Then I got a 919, basically 1,000 cc's. Old 1,000, so it was making only about 100 horsepower. And then I got the VFR, and that one was modern 100 horsepower, a lot more torque.
Mm-hmm.
And I did realize that even at 100 horsepower, when you start playing around with that kind of speed, you're go to jail fast real quick.
Yep.
And I ended up getting the SMCR because it was just so much fun everywhere that I normally use it, which is between 0 and 60 miles an hour for the most part.
Yeah.
It can still go plenty quick, but it's just so much fun to whip around a nice, light, twisty road.
Yeah. So, Sammy, what are you riding right now?
It's funny you asked that. I'm halfway between looking at either an MT-07, because my brother had that, but a lot of the guys at work are very big on getting a street triple, and for me it's just the front lights. I've got to move over that, but everyone tells me it's an amazing bike. I mean, I live in Australia, so getting Triumph parts takes like a year and a half to rock up.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
And I'm just worried about like reliability and whatnot. But if it is just that good, I'll bite the bullet. I went and rode an MT-09, and I expected that to be like the 07, and it's just completely different. I don't know if I made yeeted it into a stovey pole or something, but it was, yeah, it just felt so weird, man. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about quickly with myths is that you can't just step up from a 250 to a 750. It's just throttle control for me. I find a lot of guys who jump up, it's just, you got to be able to understand, like, it is a rocket ship, but it's like, you know, in your truck, it'll go fast if you floor it. If you don't rip the throttle all the way back, you know, you can adjust and move into it. But likewise, you only get to that step by riding those bikes. You're not going to get there unless you can't get better at football if you don't play football. You've got to, you know, step on it and just ease your way into it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like personally it takes a lot more discipline if you're coming from like a CBR 250 where personally I don't think there's much throttle control. It's a light switch. Like you said, right? It's consequence free.
Yeah.
You know, you can just do whatever you want. If you take those same habits to a big bike, you are going to get chopped up super fast. You will yeet yourself, like you said, very quickly on a big bike if you end up doing that. But yeah, you know, if you take your time and like you said, eventually you got to jump up and try it and go slow. Yeah, nothing can really prepare you for how fast a fast motorcycle really is. Mm-hmm. I think we all remember our first time on a truly powerful bike, and you're like, whoa, like, holy shit.
Yeah. light speed, like Millennium Falcon. Yeah. we
Yeah.
feel ya.
I remember when I rode my Daytona 675R, the first one that I bought. That was the first properly fast bike that I'd been on. I couldn't believe what it could do. I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, why do they sell these things, you know? I think you had the same experience on the 919, right? You were like, whoa.
I was not ready for how fast the 919 was coming off the Harley. I was not.
Yeah.
I rode it back from the guy I bought it from, and on the highway I opened it up because I was like, oh, I'm used to 70 horsepower, 65 horsepower. 100 is going to be fine. And then I opened it up and was like, wow, here we go.
Yeah, once it wound up, it's the same on the 250. I could get it to 110 kilometers an hour on the highway normal. Then you get on the Jigsaw and it's like 110. Oh, that's gone. And
Yep.
you keep going, and you just do it once, and then, well, some people don't, but for me, it's like, okay, I've done that. Time to look at something that's going to get me to work and not into a grave. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, man, I appreciate your call, and I appreciate you being a first-time caller. Hope we'll see more of you on the Discord. Thanks.
no worries. Thanks, guys.
All right, later, man.
Catch ya.
Going on to Wade next.
Hey there, Wade. You are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, it's good. How are you guys?
Good, good. Now, I will tell you, we can't talk about GP this week. We were talking about beginner myths and misconceptions as much as we'd all love to talk GP. So what have you got for us?
No worries. I'll hit you up in the Ask Yammie fight about this last weekend's GP stuff. So I guess this was just a personal thing. So when I first started riding, I was living in Colorado, and anybody who knows anything about Colorado roads, they're just trash. Like especially up in like Denver and north of that, so cold, so wet. Like tarmac freezes and cracks, and there's potholes all over the highway and stuff. And one thing I guess for me was, and it was the first time it ever happened, but so I was riding pretty much first time I ever got on the highway. Getting right on the highway, there's this massive pothole. And I was, in my head, I was like, okay, I've been riding for like a week and this is where I'm going to die. Like, cool, this is awesome. And then I hit it and just coast right over it. Like it didn't unsettle the bike. It didn't unsettle me. It just kind of happened. And I think that would be something that I would point out to people that maybe haven't ridden or starting to ride. It's like, once you get into a situation where maybe there's a pothole, you can't avoid it for whatever reason, like as long as it's not 6 feet deep or whatever, but you can just coast right over them. Same with like cattle guards. If you're out kind of in the mountains, or like there's cattle guards out here where I'm at, and even in Colorado, Texas, they're out there too. But those grates across the road that are metal, if you don't know what a cattle guard is, some people don't know, but you just coast right over them. Like, don't be in lean or anything, just straighten up and just fly right over them. Because if you freak out or do something, you're going to unsettle your bike, and then you won't be safe.
Yeah.
So you just kind of go right across it. And I guess that would be something that I would say that maybe I didn't know, or until I experienced it, and would be something I would pass on to somebody who's never ridden, is just don't be scared of certain things in the road. If you're going to hit it, just make sure you're up straight and just coast right over it.
I have two things to say. Number one is a 6 foot deep pothole is not a pothole, it is a grave, as our other caller called and told us. That would be fucking scary. And two, it's bizarre. It's funny you mention it, because I also feel that way too, where it's like, there's times where it almost feels like you just have to believe you're not going to crash, and you won't crash. Like, so much about motorcycling is just confidence and just telling yourself to, like, no, it's going to be fine, or no, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, so much about it is just believing that you're going to stay upright. I know you've had plenty of moments like that, right?
For
But
sure. Off-roading
is like that.
Everything that I've done on the DRZ off-road has taught me that motorcycles will just kind of keep going.
Just believe. You'll make it over.
Yeah.
Just point the bike and twist the throttle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things we're talking about in the list with the myths that's coming up, or by this time has come out. This was one of them on there. You really can hit basically anything on a bike, and as long as you don't give weird inputs while you're doing it, you'll coast through most stuff.
Yeah. And again, that's something you can roll over. If you hit a wall, you're just going to hit a wall. You know, like, you're obviously not just going to, hey, just keep steady on the throttle. You'll blow right through that wall. Don't worry about it. It's not going to work that way.
There are definitely limitations to this.
Yeah.
Cops throw a spike strip, you're probably not just going to be able to roll through it.
Yeah, we've all seen the crazy YouTube crash compilations. There's certain things you cannot roll through, but 90% of the stuff you're going to encounter on the road, you can usually just kind of float through it, like you said, especially cattle guards. I remember those used to freak me out a little bit, but yeah, you can just kind of roll through them.
Yeah, the only thing I will say about those cattle guards, and I've seen it one place out here in Utah, but the edges, if you're too close to one of the sides, that steel will actually roll up and it'll create basically a razor blade on the edge.
Oof.
Yep.
So if you get too close onto the edges, you can actually like puncture your tires. So stay more towards the center of it, so that way you don't get where the metal could roll up at.
Yeah. That's a good tip, Wade. I appreciate you calling with that hot tip about cattle guards.
Yeah, stay away. You can go over them, just stay off the edges of them.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Yep, y'all have a good one.
See ya.
All right,
I wish we could talk about GP, but
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
will just leave if we do that. We have 61 concurrent viewers right now. If we talk GP, it'll go down to 20. So let's keep the gravy train rolling.
So we've got Cole Z coming back. Let's get him back in here.
Hey there, Cole Z. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, we still can't hear you.
Oh, man. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Cole Z. If you hit us up on Ask Yam, we'll answer your question, or you can tell us about the misconception.
Yep. All right. Next up, we've got Trenta Lily.
All right. Trenta Lily, you are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hi, dudes. I'm chilling. I was chilling in my car. I found a rest stop, and I saw the Yamcast was going on. So, I actually had a couple misconceptions I wanted to talk about. One, that cruisers are always the most comfortable motorcycles. I actually have two motorcycles at the moment. The first one that I have, which is a Yamaha V-Star 650, the one I started on, rode that for a few years. And now I have and am working on a 1985 Honda Sabre VF 1100. And that bike is so much more comfortable than my cruiser bike. Weird.
I don't think I know what that bike is. Spite is actually pulling up Google so we can take a look at it. You said it was a Sabre VF 1100, right?
Yeah, the Yamaha, or not Yamaha, the Honda Sabre VF 1100 V65. It's basically the Honda Magna.
Naked bike with the Magna engine.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah. There's actually a few versions of it. I got the one with the touring fairing on it, but ripped it off because it was ugly as hell. The fairing and whatnot on there.
Dude, that's a pretty sweet ride. I like it.
It's fucking sick, dude. I ripped around on a little bit when I got it, and it's pretty ahead of its time. That's when Honda was doing the not listening to everyone else and trying out new things, which obviously they don't do quite as much, but I'm still a Honda simp nonetheless.
So, remind me again, the Magna has the V4 engine in it, is that right?
Yes, yeah, and it's actually one of the best sounding engines I've ever heard. It sounds better than my V-Star, but I mean, it's a little 650 V-twin, which I mean, is pretty good, but everything stock to stock, it's definitely comparable at least.
There's nothing quite like a V4. They make the best sounds.
By
That's
far.
awesome. Yeah. But that is a great misconception. I think a lot of people will default to thinking that a cruiser bike is going to be more comfortable or more laid back. But honestly, for me, I found that adventure bikes are the most comfortable bikes. Like standard sport touring, adventure bikes, like those kind of things put you in a very neutral seating position, good wind protection. I mean, I was on that Multistrada a while back, and I just felt like I could ride it for literally 500 miles and not even feel it. Yeah.
Now with your back issues, that's saying something.
Spite, most comfortable bikes for you? What would you say?
I was surprised by how comfortable a dual sport with a nice seat can be. Because again, you're in that same neutral seating position.
Yeah.
They don't have the wind protection. Sport touring motorcycles, obviously, they're super, super comfortable. Nice wide seat, neutral seating position. I've actually found a lot of cruisers where I'm like Sportster size cruisers hurt my tailbone a little bit because all of my weight's on my ass because my pegs are out in front of me. You can't put any weight on your feet. So sometimes relocating pegs on bikes like that helps so that you can actually put your weight on your feet and spread it out between.
There's another bike that Honda made, which is the Honda ST. And it's a transversely mounted V4, which sounds sick as hell.
What?
And honestly, rip all the fairings off that, make the engine look really cool, and that's a dream bike right there. Maybe put a new light on it and whatnot, but
So the Honda ST, we're looking it up right now. You said it was a transverse mounted V4.
yeah, as far as I know, unless I got the wrong.
That's
Kinda what it looks like.
wild looking bike right there.
I have never heard of it. You got this deep Honda knowledge, man. I've never heard of these bikes. I've both of these bikes. I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, I love weird bikes, man.
Look at
Weird
this
bikes
2006 Honda ST 1300 Pan-European. It looks like some weird, like, alternate dimension Goldwing.
Yeah. And honestly, with all the fairings, it looks kind of weird. But I think the newest version, I'm not exactly sure when it was last sold, probably around 2008, 2015. It looks pretty good, but honestly, strip all the fairings off, make that fucker a naked bike.
Mm-hmm.
It would really good in the current competition.
Again, this is why we're disappointed with New Age Honda. They made these
Yep.
zany bikes, and now they don't.
Mhm.
They don't make any more zany bikes. But anyways, today's podcast is not about Honda. Thank you for calling with your misconceptions, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, see ya.
All right, we are at 19 minutes on the call-in. You
All
want to
right.
do one more?
I think we can do one more call.
So next up on the list is Shane.
Oh, let's do two more. We got another one. Shane, welcome to the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Glad to be on.
Good, good. Tell us about your beginner misconceptions, if you don't mind.
Not quite sure if this is a misconception. I started off a few years ago on an street. Small displacement discrimination is a real thing.
Shane, having some trouble hearing you. Spike, can you hear him?
No, you're breaking up on us.
Are you far away from the mic?
Give me 1 second. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
All right. Small displacement.
Oh, you're gone again.
Hold on. Anyway, small displacement discrimination is a real thing. I started off on an MT-03 and immediately this is wacky on my side.
Yeah, we're having some trouble hearing you, Shane. Maybe if you want, you can just drop us the comment or the question in the Discord, and we'll get back to you. But I appreciate you calling, man. Thank you.
Yep.
That was a
bit
bad
of a bummer.
connection, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Millennial Malaise.
Hey there, Millennial Malaise, regular caller to the Yamcast. How's it going?
Not too bad. How are y'all doing this Wednesday?
Good, good. What is your beginner rider misconception or myth you'd like to share with us?
I got a couple, but I would say the first one for me that like jumped out on me is that no amount of parking lot practice will ever prepare you to get on that highway for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just really just gotta like nut up and get on that on ramp and just fucking go. Like you can be doing like the little like cone practice and stuff all you want, but like it's nothing to the feeling of just like pin it on the on ramp, you know, and just like hope it sticks.
Yes, I love that you said that. I say it all the time. I think parking lot maneuvers are great. They can help you, but at some point, like you said, you gotta nut up and twist the fucking throttle. You gotta just do it. Yeah, the bike will feel different at speed versus like super low speed stuff.
Yep.
You're not. I mean, I say this about track riding all the time because people think that because they can do like crazy U-turns in parking lots, they're going to be good track riders. But the bike behaves completely differently when you're hard braking into a corner and taking a corner at speed and tracking good lines and getting super like big drive out of corners and stuff. So completely agree. Big misconception is that parking lots are going to lend you to be, you know, a better rider in all conditions, because I don't think that's necessarily true. So thank you for bringing that up and validating me.
Sure. And I think like another thing too is like your handlebar inputs and like your body positioning is totally different, and then sometimes counterintuitive when you get at the speed. So it's like you really just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
The second one that I would say is that like, oh, your beginner bike will help you determine the kind of riding that you like to do. turns out that's a fucking lie. Like, I bought my bike, and the first thing it told me is like, hey, I want to take this on dirt. I want to take this on the track. I want to go fast. I want to go on adventures. Like, now it's like the options for like what I would like to buy in the future like has gotten so much wider. So it's like for some people it's like you don't figure out the kind of riding you like. It's just like it just opens a door.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. I feel like that first bike, that first bike experience is just, everything is so fun and new, and you're just figuring it all out and soaking it up as much as possible. And then, yeah, like you said, you're going to start slowly exposing yourself to more and more types of riding, and then eventually you'll find something that you like. And yeah, that's... I often, whenever I get messages, people being like, "Oh, I'm about to get my first bike," I'm like, I'm so jealous, because like it's such a cool feeling when you like. I still remember when I bought my first bike and how it felt to ride it. It was crazy. It was crazy. Spike, do you remember like?
Oh yeah,
it was
for sure.
so awesome.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went out on the road. Like, didn't go to a parking lot to goof around. The first time I went out on the road, I was like, I feel like $1 million. This is so cool. I'm just having so much fun right now. It's a really special feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the last one, I don't know if it's like a misconception, but like I think it's just kind of like a hard truth. But like when you're motorcycling, like there's just certain times where it's like there's literally nothing you can do. Like I remember like some of y'all can know, but like I crashed my bike, but like in the situation that happened, like I don't feel like there's anything else I could do. Like, just pulled out right in front of me, and it's like tried hard braking as best as you can, and sometimes like that's all you got, you know.
Yep.
Like there's some things that are just out of your control. So just like
yeah, it's true. Yeah, the last big crash I had was on track due to an oil spill, and I think about it a lot. I mean, I was fine, the bike was fine, but I think about it a lot where I was like, oh, maybe if I had like, you know, seen it or been a little more careful, I could have avoided it or blah, blah, blah. Then I'm just like, but I was on a track. Like, I'm not looking for oil on a track, right? I'm there to use the whole track and have fun. So really it's the other guy's fault. And to your point, it's like nothing I really could have done. But yeah, I'd say the other crash I had was wheeling the WR, and that was 100% my fault. I looped the bike, so that was on me.
Yeah, and I think like that's just like the conversation around beginner riding. Like I feel like so much of the dialogue is like, oh, how do you avoid crashes? Whereas I feel like there's a part of the conversation that needs to be like, how can I mitigate the situation? You know, like what are some of the ways that I can like mitigate the damage and stuff? Because it's like, yeah, like certain things like you're just not going to be able to help it. Like,
yeah. Well, pearls of wisdom from Millennial Malays here on the Yamcast as our final caller. We truly do appreciate it, and thank you for being a good Discord member.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. Also, we need a furry channel.
No, we don't. No, we don't at all. I already gave you guys an anime channel, and that was a bridge too far. Talk about your furry nonsense on the anime channel if you really need to.
The Yammie Chan hentai commissions are coming.
Yeah, God.
There's nothing you can do.
God damn, dude. Why?
Here they come. You're not ready.
I'm like, why am I even surprised? This is the fan base. Why am I surprised?
I just hear Illidan's storm rage in the background. You are not prepared.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, man. See ya. All right, boys, and on that note, on furries, I guess, we move on to the meme contest. All right, everyone, it's everyone's favorite time of the week, the meme contest. Up for grabs today, as usual, we've got some cool prizes. We've got a $100 Revzilla gift card, some merchandise, and then something. I actually don't know what you give to the people who win.
$100 Revzilla gift card for first prize, $50 Revzilla gift card for second prize, and a Yammie Noob t-shirt for third prize.
Pretty sweet. And even though we do have YN Moto, our store, we choose Revzilla gift cards because they obviously have a wide plethora of things available, you know, for your bike, for your gear, and all that stuff. And we recognize that they have more stuff than us for now. So we still give the Revzilla gift cards. But with that being said, Spite, let's jump into the memes.
Alrighty, so our first meme today comes to us from Sosatastic. And here we go.
All right, it says, when the cop says, sit tight, bud, after clocking you going 60 to 45 with no motorcycle endorsement, you just yeed your last haul, partner. Yeah, it's never a good feeling when a cop goes, just sit tight for me. I'm like, nope, you're going to go write me up a ticket.
Yep. Be like, nah, come on. You can't help me out.
Yeah. So you somewhat recently had an encounter with the police. We're not going to get into details. And then I know Josh also did too. I feel like I'm next up.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
the next one. Like, I know I am. I have, honestly, man, it's been years at this point of me doing dumb shit that I'm like, when am I going to get pulled over?
You know, the crazy thing about that was I got pulled over in October. And
Was that long ago?
Yes.
Wow.
It was October, first weekend of October. Or second week of October, something like that. And I just got everything sorted out last week.
Yeah.
So it took forever to get solved.
Yeah.
Just a pain in the butt. But, oh well. I just got to be a good boy for a little while, and then it'll all go away.
Yeah.
So, but rating this one on creativity and funniness.
Creativity, I think it's pretty good. How about a 7?
A 7.
Yeah.
And funniness.
Funniness is pretty good. I think an 8.
An 8. That's
funny.
a solid start for Sosatastic at 15. Next up, we have Shane.
All right, so it's me again pointing. Hentai rap. Listen, this here's art. If you don't like it, you can get out of the Yammie Kingdom.
This feels oddly apropos given how the last call ended.
It does, yeah. This image also looks like something I would have done just myself. You know, like this feels like something we would have filmed. Like I'm in a cowboy hat in front of a carbon Daytona 765, pointing at hentai, being like, "This is art." Nothing's out of the realm of the ordinary at this point. I like this one. Yeah,
I agree. So creativity.
I think like a 6.5.
A 6.5.
Yeah.
And funniness.
Decent. I think a 6.
A 6. 12.5. Next up, we have Code Keto.
All right. It says the 9 motorcyclists you will meet. Number 9, the pothead.
And I put a little joint in your mouth.
I'm smoking weed. What's the story? Does this make sense to you?
I guess it's just a new version of the 9 motorcyclists you'll meet.
I guess so. That a pothead is a motorcyclist? I don't know. This one's not connecting for me, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, this one is not connecting.
Yeah.
Creativity here.
Again, not much of a story. I think a 3.
A 3. Going there naturally.
Brutal.
Funniness is not very funny.
I think
fortunately.
a 1.
A 1.
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
That's a Tito Rabat right there.
Hey, he's doing better in World Superbike. Got a top 10.
Tito finally found a home.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a Valentino Rossi then.
Oof. Brutal. I think the best thing about Tito is that if you were to put any wannabe like club racer track day guy next to Tito,
annihilate
he would obliterate them. So you sit there talking shit about Tito, all of us do, and it's like Tito is faster than anyone talking shit about him. He's a Moto 2 champion. But it is funny to dunk on Tito. All right.
Next up, we've got Moto Tigris. If I can find it.
Moto Tigris pointing at a Cowboys-inspired Busa. Says, "This is Texas, and our Busa boys love America. You hear me?" I would be lying if I haven't. You know what's crazy? Look close at that Busa. The seat is a football.
Yep, they've got the football laces right there.
Oh, my God.
And the helmet is a Cowboys helmet.
Dude, Busa boys they evolve to places that you just never... No other bike has a subculture like this.
Nope.
And Suzuki just rejects this completely.
Completely.
They're just like, we don't see you, we don't know you, fuck off, we make Hayabusas for men. No, you don't.
The only problem with this is the Cowboys star is upside down.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pointy side up, right?
Yep. So the Boost Boy whiffed a little bit there, but...
I think the wheels are custom too.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's only Boosas that look like this, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm one of them now.
Yes, you are.
Yep. I need to get my shit fixed, but I'm one of them. We're not going to talk about that on the Yamcast. The Boosa's not doing great. Okay. So creativity for this one, I think a 6.5 as well.
A 6.5. That's a 6.3. 6.5. And funniness.
Solidly funny. 7.5.
A 7.5. Always funny to make fun of the Busa boys.
Easy. Easy layup.
Next up, Foshki.
Simple but effective.
Yeah. It's also a really good Photoshop.
That's a really good Photoshop. It also, because you're sitting, it looks kind of strange, but yeah, it looks like you're almost straddling the Daytona.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is art. I don't care what anyone says. This is art.
That should be a
I could
post
see this
on,
in a museum, you know?
we'll post that on Instagram with nothing else in the caption but this is art.
This is art. Changed my mind.
All right. So, creativity here.
I like it, man. It's really off the wall. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Most other people would have put a text or something goofy, but this is almost like just like classic dad humor. You
Yep.
know? It's simple. It's simple. I want to give it like an 8.5.
I also think you found like the perfect picture of me too.
What's crazy is the lighting is almost perfect as well.
Yeah.
Like it looks like you're in the photo.
A lot of effort went into that
Yeah,
one.
that's a good Photoshop job. I'm gonna get 8.5 creativity.
An 8.5. As I face roll the keyboard. And funniness.
It got a good chuckle out of me. How about a 7?
A 7. That is 15.5, our new leader.
All right. So I'm telling you, you guys never know what we're gonna like on the Yamcast.
It seems like it changes weekly.
Yeah.
Next up is Bo MCK.
Okay. Okay, pointing to, again with I got a cigarette or a joint in my mouth.
Yep.
And it's a 3-wheeled stacked Busa. I brap bigger than you. Okay. That is a cursed looking Busa. That can't be real, right?
No, that's definitely real.
Is it?
I have seen 3-wheel Busas like this.
Stacked up like that?
Yeah.
Which wheel drives the power? The wheel furthest back?
Yeah.
Is it a chain that's a mile long?
I think, well, in this case, I'm seeing the sprocket here. So this
Okay.
one looks like it might have a brake disc on it.
I was gonna say if it is the wheel at the rear, you're gonna need a turbo because all the driveline loss.
Yeah.
How long that chain is producing power, you know, like it's not exactly direct.
I still remember that one of the dude who had the just bolt-on swing arm and the Busa, and he was doing a burnout, and then the tire caught and crumpled up into the back of the bike.
Oh, that was brutal to watch. It just went. It just like it imploded itself.
Yup. I gotta find that video again.
Can
That
you
was
imagine
so
the
funny.
feeling of that? Just like you just revving and it just goes. That's almost as good as there's a video German 2 boy shared one time where a dude left the dealership with his Panigale and he got on the brakes and the fork triple tree clamps weren't properly adjusted correctly, so he braked and the forks just went through the bike. He was just like, and the forks just came up through it, and it just squished itself.
Go back to the Ducati dealership and be like, "Hey, Luigi,
My friggin' V4 squished itself." Yeah.
Okay, so creativity for this one.
I think a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Kind of tip of the bell curve. And funniness.
It didn't get a good chuckle out of me. I'm gonna give it a 3.
A 3.
Yeah.
That is an 8 for Guy Mobeck, whatever. Noob Sauce 400. And one that I can pronounce.
Ah, beautiful. It's me pointing to keep watching Yammie Noob. Keep watching Yammie Noob. I love how that's become so polarizing. People either love it or they hate it. I've seen so many comments being like, why do you keep using that outro? I'm like, because it's hilarious.
It's really funny.
You could keep using it. Cowboy Yam is great, though.
Yes.
Yeah, he needs to come back, make another appearance.
Figure out something. I'm surprised
I really want Andrew to put like crazy banjo music when that pops up, like a dong 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 dong, and then I start doing the bit. You know, we should film some more Cowboy Yam outros.
Absolutely. So for Noob Sauce 400, creativity here.
What do you think? A 6.5? How does this strike you for creativity? It's very simple.
I think like tip of the bell curve. It's
5?
just text on screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a 5.
Funniness, however,
I think this one's a 6.
a 6.
Got a decent chuckle out of me.
Fog next up.
Fog is one of our more interesting meme makers.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dark horse, and he's made a quite interesting one here.
Oh boy, I can't read that. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah,
Full screen it?
let me full screen it here for you.
Okay, there we go. So it appears to be a graph of. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what the original one was.
It's definitely like a TED Talk.
It's a TED Talk. It almost looks like a. Is it like a climate change graph or something?
Yeah, because this is 100,000 to
100,000 to
0.
zero. Yeah, it must be like carbon or something. So
Yeah, here's CO2 emissions.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, so it's 650,000 years of Harley Davidson price inflation and American wage stagnation. You're gonna get a +1 from me for that one right there. Wages have not kept up with productivity. Come at me. Price relative to build quality, Harley Davidson, and then peak price immediately before the Chinese buy HD and clueless nonagenarians. Great word. Start riding Hawaii Davidson bikes done up with Screaming Eagle pipes, bags, catheters, etc. And then I'm pointing at the projected.
Yep.
And then at the bottom it says your virgin net income.
Yep.
God damn, dude.
Swinging for the fences on this one. This is like a deep cut.
This is incredible. The vocabulary here, a nonagenarian, that's a deep cut.
Yes, it is.
That's a deep cut because that implies that they're 90 years old, which they very soon will be.
Yup.
I love Huawei Davidson. Done up with catheters. Oh, man. This is good.
This is really good.
I mean, this is basically like, he was like, I want to make this meme and I'm going to put the cowboy yam up at the top pointing at something.
So that I can submit it for
he's
this
like,
week.
I'm going to, mush this. I have this idea and I'm going to mush it together type of thing. That's excellent. And it's, as a statement on the economy, that is true that Harley Davidsons have become way more expensive and American wages have not kept up to pace. I would love to see an econ graph of that, of like Harley's price index mapped towards wages.
That is just going to look like this.
It's going to go. Yeah. I want Bernie Sanders to be like, the average American in 1970 could buy 2 Harley Davidsons, and today he can't even buy a one-wheeled Harley Davidson.
Can't even buy a Harley jacket.
Jeff Bezos can buy 300,000 Harley Davidsons in 1 minute. This is good. I like it. Fog always delivers some deep cut, interesting memes.
Yeah, some like next level stuff.
Remember like the film noir thing he did?
Yup.
You're too good for us, Fog. You need to just make your own content. This is good shit, man.
Creativity here.
It's high. I think like a 9.
A 9.
Yeah.
And then funniness.
It got a good chuckle out of me. I think having the Huawei Davidson with catheters and stuff, that was good. I think an 8.5.
An 8.5.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well done.
Hard hitting. That is a 17.5.
That's incredible.
Pulling out the Fabio here. Next up, we've got Fry the Cop Guy.
According to my calculations, you're still slow. Love, Poppy Yammie. All right.
Kind of simple.
Simple. Just text, and I'm pointing at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Creativity?
I think this one is a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
And funniness?
3.
Yeah. Didn't really laugh.
Womp.
Next up is Matthew DFW.
Prolific Discord boy. I see him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got another graph. You guys wanted graphs this week. I say, please subscribe. And then apparently my stomach, or maybe me, is saying, God, I just want this effing meme to be done so we can sell it. That corner would be the perfect place for a beer fridge and pool table. And then it's me pointing to 1 million subscribers over time. And then what is that at the top?
That is a jet engine basically standing in for a turbo.
That's funny. Yeah, I would say that is how I feel. However, we are still very much not done with the final video and everything for the 1 million subscriber reveal, so I don't want it to be rushed. So I actually don't want the meme to be realized. Also, I very much I can't say it on the Yamcast. I was going to talk about the bike, but I can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an open secret at this point, but Can't talk about it.
is going to hit different after yesterday.
Yeah.
God. So, 4, Matthew DFW, creativity.
Pretty creative. How about a 7.5?
A 7.5. Also another good Photoshop job.
Yeah.
Funniness.
Finesse. Funniness. How about a 6.5?
A 6.5. I agree. Next up, we've got Melancholic Drifter Boy.
One of the few kind of car boys on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Says, what's the best beginner bike? R3 or Ninja 400? Yammie this, Yammie that. And I'm pointing at a fat Turbo Hayabusa. That is
the
a
size of that turbo.
That's a big fucking turbo, dude.
I've used this photo many times in lists. I love this turbo.
That looks like a scary bike. Like, our Busa will never be that frightening.
No.
Yeah.
Look at how much just, like, stuff is right here. And it's definitely dropped on the forks quite a bit.
That's a full-on drag bike, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm not getting this meme, really. It's just that classic Turbo Busa beginner bike meme, is that what it
guess, yeah. Kind of a low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah.
For creativity.
5.
And funniness.
I think a 4.
A 4. That is a 9. Next up, we've got Seda Seth, and this is our audio-visual experience.
Winglets are in place on these bikes for homologation purpose.
Stop it. Get some help.
That's pretty good.
Nice and quick.
Yeah.
So there you go. For Seda Seth, creativity.
What do you think?
I like how it's basically charted the evolution of the Yammie does not like winglets.
Yeah.
Basically in 2 moments.
Yeah. I do think winglets are dumb. I understand why they exist. I'm not stupid, but I don't like them. They look stupid.
They only work at like 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're literally for just race bikes so they can run them, but they look dumb. Okay, creativity. I think a 7 is good here.
A 7.
Yeah, I'm feeling a 7.
And funniness?
Well, pretty funny. How about a 5.5?
A 5.5.
Yeah, got a decent little chuckle out of me.
Next up, China Shite Bike Boy.
So it's me pointing at the classic meme of you with the maids that we still don't know what meme or what anime that was or whatever, but it's quite strange.
Yep.
And then it's the classic Mustache Scott. Great character we need to bring back at
Yes.
some point. Hi, I'm Scott, and remember my fellow squids, this will always be the enemy. That's a deep cut, and that's still one of my favorite videos we've ever made.
That was a great video.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to put
It did
together.
not get appreciated.
Nope.
It got like 60 or 70,000 views, but it should have had so much more.
Mm-hmm. Go back and watch that video.
Yeah, maybe we could take a day and just do another one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was good. Reginald.
That was such an interesting day of filming.
I love the one where we had Michael just like rip off his shirt
and storm
He's
out.
like, I'm so sick of all this bullshit with
I'm
my
not
BFR.
having any fun.
Are you having fun? That was really good. Yeah.
I'm sure Bob was hearing some of that, being like, "What the fuck is going on over there?" So creativity here, the deep cut.
Deep cut meme. I want to give this one a 7.5 for creativity.
7.5. And funniness.
Funniness is pretty. It was pretty funny. How about a 7?
A 7.
Yeah.
That's 14.5. Next up, we've got Nomster.
Ain't that the truth, buddy? Yes, it's me pointing at my new WR and the desert sled in the bin. Now, I will say I have ridden the desert sleds. I still like the bike a lot. It's just I don't want to yeet it off road anymore as much because the WR is so much more fun to ride off road. The desert sled's a weird challenge to ride off road, so I like it a little bit, but the WR is a really fun bike. You rode it today. This is a sweet ride, isn't it?
Great bike.
Yeah, really, really good bike. Classic, simple. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel bad seeing the desert sled in the bin. It's not in the bin. I'm not selling it. I like the bike.
Unless it starts leaking oil again.
Yeah. Well, it's under warranty. I'll take it to Ducati. Creativity, I want to give this one I feel like I've given so many 7.5s, but I do feel like it's a 7.5.
I agree.
Yeah.
And funniness.
Pretty funny. How about a 7.5 as well for this one?
A 7.5. That is going to be a 15, which means we've got a tie.
Oh.
Next up, or last up, we have Cole's 10. The first Whitney meme.
It's boner, and then it's Whitney's brain. It says Whitney looking for words to describe a bike. Honestly, Whitney is one of the few people at this company, business, whatever you want to call it. All of her descriptors are sexual innuendos and sexually based. It's like everything's about big titties or boners, or she has a very colorful way of describing motorcycles in ways that I don't think we would ever describe them.
No, we learned what soul boner meant.
Soul boner is her biggest contribution to this entire team. It's so good. Really describes it very well.
Yup.
Yeah.
This one, I like that Whitney now has been in there long enough to create her own meme verse now.
Yeah, she definitely has her own flair in the content, that's for sure.
Which means I think that Whitney beat Josh to the meme game.
No one's made a meme about Josh yet. Yeah, that's true. However, Whitney's been in way more videos than Josh has been. He's only been in like a handful.
That is true. Okay, so creativity.
I think this was pretty creative. I want to give this one a 7.
A 7. And funniness.
Pretty funny. How about a 7?
A 7. That's 14.
Yeah. All right.
So,
first place by a wide margin is Fog, the Fabio Quartararo of today's meme contest.
He has finally taken that first place seat.
Yes.
Next up, we have Fosh Key at 15.5.
That was a good one. Yep. Second place.
The two-wind. And then we have a 15 down here with Nomster and a 15 with Sosatastic. So Nomster was the Desert Sled in the Bin meme.
Yep.
And Sosatastic was this one.
Tough. Which one do you like more?
I like this one a little bit more because I like the yeed your last haul.
Yeah,
that other meme.
That is pretty funny, yeah. Let's give third to him. Yeah.
All right, so third goes to Sosatastic.
Or her, I have no idea.
And none of these winners are on cooldown, so we're good to go.
Beautiful. Well, there you have it, folks. Another Yamcast in the books. Remember, if you want to watch these live and join us up and have some fun, go over to yammie.co. Join the Discord, join us over there and have some fun with us, hanging out, watching these live, submitting memes, calling us in, doing a bunch of cool stuff. I promise you it will be worth it, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Now, how you doing, partner? This video's over, but you click on this one right over here. You keep watching yourself some Yammie Noob. Maybe I bend my boost on this one. Maybe I'll give you some other funny memes or something like that. You might not know if you watch the video, so watch the video now, all right?